Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of The Curve, presented by T-Mobile, where we bring you the latest Grandmasters news on Curve. The final week of the round robin was filled with highs and lows. We found out who saved themselves and booked a spot in playoffs and who we have to say goodbye to for this season. In the European region, Pavel did what he could by beating Boston in his final match, giving himself the best chance he could of surviving to see another season. Unfortunately for Kalento, he could not do the same as K-God took a loss in a 3-0 sweep versus RDU. And, luckily for Zim, these results meant that he avoided relegation and instead has a second chance in the relegation bracket next week. Meanwhile, in APAC, it was Frosty and Dawn who narrowly avoided relegation for this week, and even with Samuel Zhao taking a win over Staz on Friday, he couldn't manage the feat again on Sunday, taking a loss to Shaxi and sealing his fate along with Staz as the relegations for the Asia Pacific region. Over in the Americas, it was newcomer Papa Jason who took last place, with only one win over the course of the round robin. Purple, on the other hand, survived by beating PNC on Friday. He then had to wait to see if Firebat could also defeat PNC on the last match on Sunday, which he did. And although ETC looked like he would have had his work cut out for him this weekend, he did manage to pull off 2 wins, which means, although he's not 100% safe from relegation, he does live to fight another week. Although we have already said goodbye to 6 Grandmasters, we do still have some relegation spots left. Next week, each region will be playing out a relegation bracket, which will consist of the bottom 2 players from Division A and the 5th and 6th place finishers from Division B. Essentially, each player needs to win 1 match to be removed from the relegation bracket. Once you are removed, you are safe. This gives the Division A seeds a great chance at avoiding relegation, as they would have to lose 3 matches in a row to be knocked out. Meanwhile, the players from Division B have a much rougher task, with the lowest seed only having 1 single match to decide their fate. With the meta being so hectic, we have seen the pro opinions split on lineup and strategy. With 2 of the most hotly contested decks having negative win rates this week, we can understand why. Quest Warlock was thought to be the newest and strongest deck, but with below 45% win rate, it did not perform as expected. Was the deck heavily targeted, or is the deck just not as good as players believe it is? We'll have to wait until next week to see if the pros have changed their mind and end up pivoting away from their quest. Another deck that many of the pros can't agree on is Spell Druid. When it wins, it looks incredibly powerful. With strong ramp, board generation abilities, and being backed up by high burst damage, it looks great. But the problem is, how often does that happen? With a meager 33% win rate this weekend, the answer's not very. Going into playoff week with spots at the World Championships on the line, I would be very surprised if we see any Druids being submitted. And that is going to be it from us here at The Curve this week. And just a reminder, as always, if you need to catch up on any matches you may have missed or any news, make sure to go to playhearthstone.com/esports to get all of that information. But for now, we will see you next week in the tavern.